Alright guys, today's goal, the learner will understand how to use slope-intercept form to graph. Okay, so guess what we have to do? Find the slope. So make sure if you don't have this, copy this down. Slope, the letter used is m. It's rise over run. It means the change in y over the change in x. Another way you might see this written, change in y over change in x, the triangle, okay? So, let's go over to our first example here. It says find the slope of the graphed line that goes through the point 6, 2 and 10, 5. Okay, so there's x1, y1, x2, y2, remember? Plug it in. M equals 5 minus 2 over 10 minus 6. That equals 3 over 4. So the slope, 3/4. So let's try another one. Find the slope of a line that goes to those 2 points. So remember, label x1, y1, x2, y2. So m equals 3 minus 3 over 7 minus 4. You get 0 over 3, which is 0. So the slope is 0. Now, let's talk about these two. For graphing purposes, I would say that the slope is 0 over 1 because this tells me I go up and down 0 and right 1. Okay? This one tells you go this 3 means up 3, right 4. So up 3, right 4. Or that's the same thing as this for graphing purposes. Because what's a negative divided by a negative? Still positive. So this would mean down 3, left 4. Okay? So these are things we need to understand. So here, label x1, y1, x2, y2. I get m equals 18 minus 5 over negative 2 minus negative 2. You get 13 over 0. So, now notice it says plus plus here. Because minus the negative changes to plus the positive. Okay, now 13 over 0. You can't divide by 0, so that means undefined. A slope of 0 means horizontal line. An undefined slope means vertical line. Alright, so there's the basics of finding the slope. Let's see how we can apply this now. Okay, so given the line, find the slope. Well, slope intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope. So here, I know m is 3 and b is 5. We'll talk about that. That's the y-intercept. So it's where the line crosses the y-axis. But find the slope right there. Now this one. Is it in slope-intercept form? No. So that's something we have to get in the habit of doing. So let's look. So I have the equation. What we want to do is solve it for y. So how can I get rid of this 3x? And I'm sorry. That should say equals. So I subtract 3x, 2y. Now watch how I write this. Negative 3x plus 15. Remember, I can't add those together because they both don't have x. And then how do I keep the y? I got to divide by the 2. Divide each piece by 2. So you get negative 3 over 2x plus 15 over 2. Leave everything as fractions. So what's the slope? Well, that's m, so that's the slope. So the slope, m equals negative 3 over 2. Okay? So let's see what we can do with these lines now. Okay, so how do you know two lines are parallel to each other? They have the same slope. So let's graph this. So first thing to do to graph it is get it into slope intercept form. So 2x minus 3y equals 3. Subtract 2x. Negative 3y equals negative 2x plus 3. Divide by negative 3. Y equals 2 over 3x minus 1. So, watch what I do here. Identify M and identify B. So B is the y-intercept, and when you think about the graph here, think about this. M is how you move, B is where you begin. So M is the move, B is begin. So this is telling me my y-intercept is negative 1. So let's graph this. So that means I begin at negative 1. The slope is 2/3. Now remember, it's rise over run. So this means up 2, right 3. So from there, I go up 1, 2, right 1, 2, 3. So right here, we make a point. And then to be more accurate, you can go up 2 more, right 3 more. Or you could go backwards of that, down 2, left 3. See how they're all in line? And then draw the line through. So there's your final answer. So they want to know, is this line parallel to this line? Well, here we got a slope of 2/3. So that's what we need this to be. So let's try. First step. Subtract 2x. You get 3y equals negative 2x plus 8. Divide everything by 3. You get y equals negative 2/3 x plus 8/3. The slope of this is negative 2/3. Does negative 2/3 equal 2/3? No. So it is not, they are not parallel. Okay? So word problems here. All right. It says an inheritance of $8,000 is invested in an account that pays 7.5% simple interest. The amount of money in the account after T years is given by the model y equals 8,000 plus 600T. So when I look at that, I see the slope is 600, and I see the y-intercept is 8,000. Okay? Now, it says use the model to complete the table. So at 0 years, we have 8,000. After 1 year, 8,600. You just plug one in for t and calculate. Then it would be 9,200. Then it would be 9,800. $10,400. Not 4,000, 10,400. And then 11,000. Okay, so we completed the table now. It says graph it. Okay, so notice they're labeled. There's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I would kind of do this. That bracket means that's not how they're all going to move, and then make them each. So watch. See how there's one in the middle? That means each one's $600 increase. Oh. So at 0, it was 8,000. At 1, 2, now notice I only continue line one way because you're never going to get less money. Okay? So there's slope-intercept form. It says find the average rate of change of the amount in the account over 5 years. Well, the average rate of change is your slope. So the average rate of change, $600. Okay? So there's the slope-intercept form. So now we're going to talk about point-slope form, which is you're given 1 point and the slope. So let's just look at this first example before we get into the details here, okay? Focus on what we've already learned. Okay, see how it tells you you have a point of 3, 4. So graph that. And then we talked about this. M is how you move. So this means up 1, right 3. So from there, go up 1, right 3. Or down 1, left 3. So that's how you can get your line. So let's take a look, though, at point slope form now. So point slope. Y minus y1 equals m times the quantity x minus x1. Y and x are variables. They stay there. The ones you fill in for are the y1, the x1, and the slope. So watch. We just graphed that. This is what you got. So label x1, y1. And we get y minus 4 equals 1/3 times x minus 3. There's the equation in point slope form. So let's try this again. Given the point and the slope, graph the line. Okay, so let's write it in the point slope form first. So y minus 0 equals -2 times x minus 0. Well, that one is just y equals -2x. Okay? So it wants us to graph this. So 0, 0. Now, this is what I would do. Make it a fraction. Put it over 1, because that means I go down 2, right 1. Or the opposite, up 2, left 1. So there's my line. Okay, so there's how we use point slope form. Let's continue to look and see how we're going to continue to use this, okay? So, it says, given the points 3, 2, and 5, 8, find the equation of a line that passes through those points. Okay, so get the slope. There's step 1. Get the slope. So, x1, y1, x2, y2. So I have m equals 8 minus 2 over 5 minus 3. So I get 6 over 2. So the slope is 3. Now watch, you have options here. You can choose this point or this point. So if I choose the first point, I get y minus 2 equals 3 times x minus 3. If I choose the second point, I get y minus 8 equals 3 times x minus 5. Now if they're asking you for point slope form, you're done. But let's say they wanted slope intercept form. Watch. Distribute the 3. Add the 2. You get y equals 3x minus 7. So there's slope intercept form. Now watch over here. You get 3x minus 15. Add the 8. See how they came out to be the same? That's why point slope form, it doesn't matter which point you pick. But there's the equation in slope intercept form. It works the same for both. So let's try another one. It says, given the points 5, negative 3, and 2, 4, find the line parallel and the line perpendicular. Okay, so let's look back up. First, find the slope again. So, x1, y1, x2, y2. So 4 minus negative 3 over 2 minus 5. So that changes to plus plus. So you get 7 over negative 3, which is negative 7/3. So the slope is negative 7/3, okay? So parallel. What do we know about parallel lines? Well, we know that the slope is the same. Okay? So to get the equation of a line for parallel, pick one of the 2 points. So y minus 4 equals negative 7/3 x minus 2. Excuse me. Now perpendicular. So parallel means the slope is the same. Perpendicular means negative reciprocal. So reciprocal means flip. So if I flip it, I get negative 3 over 7, but you have to multiply it by a negative. So the perpendicular slope would be 3/7. And then you go pick a point. Doesn't matter. So you get y minus 4 equals 3/7 x minus 2. Now, if they need it to be in slope intercept form, just distribute and simplify like we did, okay? So here we go. It says, given 5, negative 3, and 4x minus y minus 3 equals 0, find the line that is parallel and perpendicular. Okay, so get this into slope intercept form. So I need to add the 3 over and subtract the 4x. So I get negative y equals negative 4x plus 3. Divide everything by the negative 1. Y equals 4x minus 3. So I know my slopes. The slope parallel is 4. The slope perpendicular, well, the reciprocal 4 is 1/4, and then negative. So negative 1/4. So for parallel, now here's the thing. It's telling us it goes through this exact point. So that's the one we have to choose. So watch. You'd say y plus 3. Why is it plus? Because look. See how this says negative 3? Y minus negative 3. That changes to plus. Okay? So y plus 3 equals slope parallel times x minus 5. So there's the parallel line. Perpendicular. Y plus 3 equals negative 1/4 times x minus 5. Now for homework and tests, you might need to simplify those into slope-intercept form, but only if it says so. I'll see you guys in class on Thursday. Be ready to roll.